What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of the Elephant Wire podcast, the show where we break down song lyrics and don't play you a damn second of the song because major labels are thieving babies that would sue us up the ass. This week's episode is a special Election Day episode, so obviously, we're going to break down the song FDT by rapper YG featuring Nipsey Hustle. Let's get some.
Welcome to the Elephant Wire podcast. Music, drugs, laughter, lyrics.
Welcome, one and all, to episode 5 of the Elephant Wire podcast. My name is Jake. I'm the host of the Elephant Wire podcast. This is our special Election Day episode, being that tomorrow, November 3rd, is Election Day. I mailed my ballot in quite a while ago now, and we will wait and hope and pray and just tomorrow's a big one. Tomorrow's a very big one, especially in recent history, if not in American history. This is an enormous election. We've got a lot of fun things planned today. As I said, we will be dissecting the song FDT by YG and Nipsey Hustle. I say we jump right into it. I say we don't fiddle fart around, as my grandpa used to say. Let's just dive in. Keenan Jackson, born March 9th, 1990, better known by his stage name YG, is a rapper from Paramount, California. He linked up on this song with Nipsey Hustle. Tragically, Nipsey Hustle was killed on March 31st, 2019, at 33 years old. He was shot almost 10 times in the parking lot of his clothing store, Marathon Clothing, in South Los Angeles. I actually was living in Southern California at the time. My wife and I were living in San Diego, and it's difficult to say that I was honored to be there during that time because it was how sad it actually was to be, the subject matter itself. However, I will say the amount of love that came out of that, to be able to see it firsthand was incredible. To be able to see just communities come together and visibly and emotionally shaken by what had happened. Nipsey was such a huge landmark on his community, much less the music community, and it was beautiful to see it firsthand. To be able to see overnight, it seemed like street art and murals and just people of all walks of life, of different races, backgrounds, everybody coming together to show their love for Nipsey. It was a beautiful time, as sad as it was. But like I said, I feel very fortunate that I happened to be in Southern California during that time. But it was such a tragic thing. It feels weird to say that I was fortunate. But we miss Nipsey. Rest in power. He was one of the good ones. He absolutely was. But before he went, he gave us he gave us an entire discography of awesome music, but this is one of the more beautiful things he was a part of. But as far as the song itself, it came in on the Hot 100 singles, came in at number 10, and it sat there for a second. It was off the album Still Brazy, which came out on March 30th, 2016. It was produced by DJ Swish. The album Still Brazy. FDT is, if any of you are curious, that stands for Fuck Donald Trump. I hope I haven't mixed my words there. I'll just say it one more time just to be safe. FDT stands for Fuck Donald Trump. Just so we're all clear there. It is a protest song by YG and Nipsey, and it was the second single that YG released off the album Still Brazy. And it obviously is an incredibly strong criticism of policies and just the moral fortitude or lack thereof of who would soon, you know, become the 45th president. You know, this song, like I said, was released in March, or this album was released March 30th, 2016. Um, later that year, November of that year, was whenever the election happened. And it's really funny to think, when you think back of like the Vietnam War, or maybe even the Korean War or the Cold War, protest songs that came from those eras. And they were very subtle, they were poetic, they were ballads. Nowadays, we just make the title of the song "Fuck Donald Trump." Like, we don't have time to beat around the bush. We don't have time to be subtle. We don't have time to be poetic. Enough is enough. Like, the younger generation, I think this is one of the more beautiful things about this younger generation is if we don't fucking like something, you're gonna hear it. We don't try to save face in that parameter. We like YG and Nipsey, honestly, stuck their necks out there. I mean, there's so many crossover between the Republican Party and higher ups of so many different corporations. And whenever you're as popular as a rapper as those two fellas, you're risking a lot. And they didn't even bat an eye. They put that song out there, and there was quite a few things that they encountered as far as the release of the song and people trying to hold it up, but they were strong, they were resilient, they stuck to their guns, and they made it happen. This song itself is track 15 of 17. Um, and I think beat wise, um, it's a very straightforward beat. There is a hook to the song. However, it's a very straightforward, very simplistic beat, and I think that honestly adds to it. I mean, if the beat would have been complex, or the beat would have been, really any different than it is, it wouldn't have carried the same weight. Almost like a Ringo Starr drumming for the Beatles scenario. The simplicity is what made it beautiful. The simplicity is what added to the entire situation. The song comes in at 3 minutes 47 seconds, and the track itself was recorded in about an hour. It did not take them long at all. I'm sure, I'm sure they jotted down a few notes of what they wanted to say, but I guarantee you, once they got in the booth, that a lot of this just came from the heart, because you can tell in the way that they're rapping, in the way that they're going about saying what they say. And the song itself was actually inspired by Nipsey, and his experience working with Mexican immigrants. He felt that he needed to push a little harder, he needed to go a little above and beyond, and do a little more and speak his mind on how um, a racist ass like Trump was speaking about people of Mexican descent and their immigration policies. And it's one of those things. Like, it's just like it's hilarious to me that there's people that do not feel bad using the term illegal alien. Like, it's a fucking human being. Like, you're worried about their paperwork? How does that fucking affect your life? I don't know. Well, there will be plenty of ranting today. I apologize now if you don't really want to listen to me rant. This wouldn't be a good episode for you. I'll just get that out of the way now. But when this song was released, um, Los Angeles Times described it as the most prophetic, wrathful, and unifying protest song of 2016, and that is exactly how I would describe this myself. Prophetic in the sense that a lot of the things that Nipsey and YG are speaking of, and a lot of the things that they're laying out, saying that what Donald Trump will do is exactly what he fucking did. Wrathful, they're angry. And unifying, you put this song on, you're going to know real quick who's on your team. So the LA Times making that statement, I can stand behind that 100%. Um, as far as the setup for this song, I really don't have a whole lot more. I didn't want to muddy things up. I didn't want to drone on for hours on this episode. We don't even have a local band of the week this week. I didn't want, just in case, I didn't want some local band out there with their name tied to this episode just in case. We lose a sponsorship because of this episode. That's fine. It is what it is. Um, but at this point, that's really all I have to say about the song itself. I'm excited to get in there and dissect these lyrics. Well, as I was saying, I don't have a lot of setup really for this song. I really want it to just kind of speak for itself. I didn't want to really do a lot of pomp and laud outside of, once again, I'll say it again, rest in power, Nipsey. Um, there's not really a whole lot that I want to say before reading these lyrics. I want this song to basically speak for itself. Fuck Donald Trump. I like white folks, but I don't like you. All the kings in the hood want to fight you. Surprised El Chapo ain't tried to snipe you. Surprised the Nation of Islam ain't trying to find you. Have a rally out in LA? We're gonna fuck it up. Home of the Rodney King riot. We don't give a fuck. Black students ejected from your rally? What? I'm ready to go right now. Your racist ass did too much. I'm about to turn Black Panther. Don't let Donald Trump win. That dude's a cancer. He's too rich. He ain't got the answers. He can't make decisions for this country. He's gonna crash us. No, we can't be a slave for him. He got me appreciating Obama way more. Hey Donald, and everyone that follows, you gave us your reason to be president, but we hate yours. Fuck Donald Trump. Am I tripping? Let me know. I thought all that Donald Trump bullshit was a joke. You know what they say, when rich kings go broke. Look, Reagan sold coke, Obama sold hope. Donald Trump spent his trust fund money on the vote. I'm from a place where you probably can't go. Speaking for some people that you probably don't know. It's pressure built up, and it's probably gonna blow. And if we say go, they're probably gonna go. If you vote Trump, then you're probably on dope. And if you like me, then you probably ain't know. If you've been to jail, you can probably still vote. We let this fucker win, we're gonna probably feel broke. You build walls, you're gonna probably dig holes. And if your ass do win, you're gonna probably get smoked. We're the youth. We're the people of this country. We got a voice too. We will be seen. And we will be heard. Hold up. I fuck with Mexicans. Got a plug with Mexicans. When the Lolo need a switch, who I call? A Mexican. This Comedy Central ass dude couldn't be the president? Hold up, Nip. Tell the world how you fuck with Mexicans. It wouldn't be the USA without Mexicans. And if it's time to team up, shit, let's begin. Black love, brown pride, in the sets again. White people feel the same as my next of kin. If we let this fucker win, God bless the kids. God bless the kids, this asshole wicked and wigged. When me and Nip link, that's Bloods and Crips. When's your LA rally? We gonna crash your shit. Fuck Donald Trump. So as I've said a few times now, obviously these lyrics are rather self-explanatory, and I don't really feel that we need to go line by line as we would usually do on a standard lyrics episode. But what I've decided to do instead is just share some thoughts on everything relating to Election Day tomorrow. I understand that I really don't have a lot to say that hasn't already been said. And anyone who has made up their mind already isn't changing it now. I mean, not honestly, not that I'm even trying to change anyone's mind. You might agree with me, you might not. You might not appreciate my tone, but I feel I owe it some transparency, if you will, to say what I have to say, and it's that these last 4 years we've seen a new type of political awareness. We've seen a unification of people um, over, staying current on what our leaders are doing, while other people just bury their head in the sand or their own ass. It's tough to tell at this point. But people have just become straight up more aware of how their leaders vote, and what they do with their money, and which corporations their money comes from. And I don't think I've made my point muddy at all in saying that I sure as shit don't want another 4 years of Trump. That is the opposite of what I wish to see tomorrow. That, however, is not what I would like to focus on. What I would like to focus on, honestly, is continuation, complacency, and apathy. So let's take the Obama administration for instance, and what all too much feels like 8 years of bliss at this point. Personally, I was drinking the Kool-Aid in 2008. I wanted change. I wanted Barack. I wanted to put my faith in someone and told myself that he was different from the last 43 assholes that took the job. Now that being said, in 2012, I didn't even fucking vote. I figured, what's the point? I don't actually have to care. The government runs itself. Obama has this in the bag, blah, blah, blah. I must say as well that through that entire time, I never once spoke up about the amount of people that were deported during his presidency. Not once did I speak up about drone attacks. Not once did I even do a little bit of research to see who his biggest donors were. Not once did I feel the need to say out loud, Black Lives Matter. I was complacent as fuck. Now, I almost came to my senses in 2016. I voted, but I still was not informed. I just knew Trump was a fucking loser because I'm not a white supremacist. It was it's it was really that easy. um, and we all know how that election turned out, and the heartache it has brought on literally the entire world. Um, and there was, I mean, the lack of voter turnout based on people thinking that he didn't have a chance, and he still lost the popular vote. I mean, imagine if everyone would have actually turned out. I never stopped to consider the grand scheme of all an election entails, and who it really affects, and how little I am affected, honestly, due to my race, my family history, my employment status. I had never made it a point to be informed, or at least take the time to understand what didn't directly affect me. I In essence, I wasted my time when I could have been making a difference, when I could have been informed, when I could have been knowledgeable. Now, on a less personal level and more of a broad scope, as the last 4 years have drained past this, and this constant barrage of hate and violence and racism and injustice, our president has in no way stood up for what is right. Not once. Like even a fucking softball right over the fucking plate. Like, Mr. President, can you just say that the Klan is bad? He's like, oh, they're good people. Like, that all goes without saying. What I want to draw attention to, however, is, are we willing to find fault in a leader that we possibly did vote for or even support? Say a Democratic senator who votes to increase military spending, or a cool young congressman that votes to decrease a school budget. Just because there's a letter D next to their name on a ballot does not give them a hall pass. And I will absolutely say is too, in kind. Just because of an R next to someone else's name does not make them the enemy. Now, obviously, statistics speak for themselves, but that's not the point. I'm also not saying that every decision made by a government official has to fit my exact line of reasoning and conviction. That's foolish. I'm not the authority of reason. What I'm saying is that what the ultimate crime, after all we've come to understand in the last 4 years, would be, after all we know and after everything we've been demanding, it would be a fucking shame if Joe Biden were elected president tomorrow and all of us who've been shouting treason from the rooftops decided to just turn a blind eye based solely on the fact that, well, at least it's not Trump. I voted for Biden by mail, and I hope to God that he wins. I hope for humanity's sake he wins. He listens to science. He believes in climate change. He allows for progress not based on race. He isn't a fucking religious bigot. However, my hope is that all of us who have spent 4 years angry at all we've seen and heard, that we keep that anger. No matter who sits in that Oval Office, or honestly for any office in Capitol buildings across the US. I don't care who the fuck they are. I don't care who the fuck their party is. Unless their goal as a social servant, an elected official, is to give the ultimate opportunity to all mankind, they can fuck off. If Biden wins tomorrow and steps into the office in January and has a dementia moment and he says something off color or he says something inappropriate or he does something inappropriate, I want each and every one of us that has been raising hell for 4 years to be equally as angry as we would have been with Trump. Do not, under any circumstances, let yourself become complacent just because the fucking treasonous orange ogre could potentially be out of a job. Keep the fire. Keep the anger. Keep the level of expectation. Stay resilient. Stay firm. Never stop fighting until all men and women are treated equally. Protect the meek. Be humble. Fight for what is right. And lastly, this is honestly possibly equally as important. Never, ever forget the people that have supported Trump's racist ass the entire way through. And Uncle so-and-so can show up to next Christmas without his MAGA hat on, but that doesn't mean we forget. And it does not absolve you of your complicit ideals of white supremacy and hate. Fuck Trump, and fuck you for voting for him. Bigotry is a learned behavior, and any behavior that has been learned can be unlearned. Now, I get so heated about this because the fact of the matter is we owe it to those who have no voice. We must use our own. We owe it to the countless thousands who have seen the ugliest side of this oligarchy. We owe it to those who have no choice but to sit in a cage while the First Lady walks around in clothes that say, "I don't care." We owe it to those who have been murdered by the hands of Nazi swine hiding behind a badge. We owe it to the voiceless, the weary, the weak, and the wounded. We must use our breath for those who cannot breathe. We must be strong. We must not waver. We must fight to see all men, all women, all those that have no fight left in them succeed. We are all in this together. There is one race, the human race. And the most beautiful moment within the human race and the human experience is to put yourself aside and to give of yourself to another that could never repay you. I love you all, and I'll see you right back here next Monday. Black Lives Matter. Rest in power, Nipsey. Fuck Donald Trump.